Hi, everybody. Got a rather sensitive topic to discuss with you here. Something that's not a whole lot of fun for me, but it's an important issue nonetheless. And that is the issue of super key boxes. If you recall back in August at our Education Day, I brought up the topic that we were experiencing a shortage of key boxes, and we really weren't in a position to get any new ones from CYRA until we could account for the ones that had already been assigned to us. Well, I wanted you to know that over the past 4 months, we have done an exhaustive inventory of all of the key boxes that have been assigned to Schuler Bauer, and we compared our records with those at CYRA and KimWeb and determined that we've got 90 missing super boxes. Well, as you can imagine, that's a rather startling number, and while we're not trying to punish anybody, it's important that we get the issue resolved. But I also wanted to take a moment to explain how the process with super key boxes works. And basically, it's important to understand that the boxes that we have to use are not free. They're actually owned by CYRA, and we get to use them. But if we're unable to turn them back when the time is right, they cost us $100 a piece. Well, in an effort to resolve the issue of ongoing shortages and get things cleaned up, I want you to know that we've paid CYRA for 90 missing key boxes. I mean, you can do the math, but it was a very large check. And you know, as your principal broker, I am ultimately responsible for all the key boxes that you guys use out there. And as we're going through all this, I just got to level with you that it just does not seem fair. It's frustrating, and it frankly does not sit well with me that I or the company should have to bear the entire expense for replacing key boxes when agents check them out and are ultimately responsible for getting them returned to the company. So as such, I wanted you to know that we're following up with the last agent of record from our inventory search. It could be from a record that we had here internally or one through KimWeb, and we're sending an invoice to the agents who were the last agent of record on the missing boxes. It's something that we first talked about last August, so I hope it does not come as a surprise to folks. But, you know, it's important that we get, number one, get things cleaned up. And number two, it's important for us to recommit ourselves to being responsible for the boxes moving forward, because the last thing that I want to see is for us to have a system like they have in Louisville. In Louisville, agents purchase their own boxes. There's nobody there providing them for free to use. The system we have, I believe, is a lot better, but it requires some responsibility on all of us to make sure that we keep an account of where the boxes are. So the settlement with CYRA should allow us to get more boxes, resolving our shortage issue. But it's really important to me that we do not find ourselves in the same situation in the future. So moving forward, there's a couple of things that I'll ask that you do, and I want you to know what you can expect if we wind up having issues again in the future. First is that when you bring a box back to the office, I mean, we check them out with Sean Berry, Kathy Lightheart, or Sandy Gladden. So when you return it, I would ask that you make sure that either Sean, Kathy, or Sandy update the company records. We all have an inventory. It's on a spreadsheet of where the boxes are and who checked them out. When you bring it back, I'd ask that you follow up with those folks to make sure that they update the record and remove your name from that spreadsheet. That way we'll know that the box is unassigned. It should still be here in the office. And then that way it relieves you of your responsibility for its whereabouts. If you're in need of a lockbox, I know it's easier said than done, but please plan ahead. If you take one off the desk when no one's around on a weekend or after hours, it causes a great deal of problems. I don't want missing lock boxes in the future, so please make sure that if you check a box out that the records get updated. Another issue where things come up from time to time is when listings expire. I know oftentimes we have intentions to go back and relist properties. It doesn't always work out that way, and a number of the boxes that wound up going missing were probably attributable to expired listings where we just got busy and forgot to go back out and get them. I would ask that if your listing expires, go get the box and bring it back to the office. If you relist it later, I know it takes a separate trip to go back and reinstall it again. And I really don't mind if you transfer boxes from expired listings and recycle them to somewhere else. Save yourself a trip if necessary. I do ask that if that's what you're going to do, please let Sean, Kathy, or Sandy know so that we can keep our records updated. It's not really a fun message to have to send to you, and I'm not trying to punish anybody, not trying to single anybody out, but we just simply cannot put ourselves in a position where we're running short of key boxes in the future and having this financial liability for their whereabouts. Our staff knows when your listings expire, so it's not a secret, okay? And what we're willing to do is give you the benefit of the doubt to go back out and follow up with your sellers and possibly relist it. But ultimately, when a listing expires and we can't account for a lockbox, we're going to send you an email to follow up just to remind you. We'll do that twice. But if, after 2 follow-ups, the box is still not here, it's still in your name, you can expect that it's going to be billed to your accounts receivable for $100. Again, not trying to punish anybody. We just want to make sure that the boxes remain free for everybody to use and that we never get ourselves in a position where we run out again and can't get more. Appreciate your listening, and I really appreciate all your help on this. Thank you.